Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Licklider here, coming back with another video. This time we are, it's Sunday, October 7th, that fateful day when Jodie Whittaker makes her official debut, and I can actually start judging her performance as the Doctor in The Woman Who Fell to Earth, the premiere episode of Season 7. Season 7. Series 11. Don't ask me where I got Season 7 from. I do apologize, it is quite late. Now, a couple of things. There may be potential spoilers in this video, so if you have not watched the episode yet, be warned. Second, for most of these episodes, I will be only watching the episode once, but with The Woman Who Fell to Earth, I had to watch it twice due to the fact that the American broadcast of the episode cut out the next time trailer, cut out a couple of shots, and I just, with them cutting stuff out, that's actually one of my big problems, is that this is nothing on the episode itself, but the American broadcasting for BBC America was rather lackluster. I was watching the simulcast version, and I was actually hoping it to be, here's the thing, I was expecting it to be a true simulcast, so, when we're, that we're at the exact same moment with the BBC in the United Kingdom as we are in the US, but sadly it was not. They inserted a bunch of commercials. About 45 minutes of the episode, as shown in the US, was commercials, which, I'm sorry, in this episode like this, especially when you watch it a second time, the editing itself is meant to be viewed without commercials. It's meant to be viewed as a 65-minute feature, it's not built to have commercials in them, which can have a really big effect on how the episode can be presented. Also, just really on how the episode can be received by me, the viewer. But with that out of the way, without further ado, let's actually get to what I disliked about my initial reaction, just initial thoughts of The Woman Who Fell to Earth. First thing, I actually really like that Chibnall is going all in with this whole anyone can watch it for the first time. That is one thing that I didn't really bring up too much in my few videos building up to it. I have liked the idea that this is a jumping on point. We aren't being bogged down by continuity. Yes, Chibnall has said he's probably going to bring back old monsters. It's going to happen eventually, but not in Series 11. This is a new, let's explore the universe with the new Doctor. And, that's nice, is that we started off focusing on the companions, and immediately Chris Chibnall makes the characters interesting. I'm going to be honest, the first scene with Ryan vlogging is kind of cheesy, though by the end of the bookends, when you find out he's not actually talking about the Doctor, but he's talking about his grandmother, that's actually really quite nice. But the scene with Ryan, Graham, and Grace, you automatically get the really good dynamic, and, what's nice is that part of the episode's fun is, why is Ryan's, not really a fan of his step-grandfather, Graham, played by Bradley Walsh. Let's be honest, Bradley Walsh is probably one of the highlights of this episode. He was hilarious. He's very much playing this sort of everyman character, playing it as, hey, this is crazy. I'm saying what everyone's thinking right now, and you won't want to deny it, because, this is crazy. We have this crazy episode, and the idea is that Ryan has dyspraxia, which is a coordination disorder, pretty much, which I think is really interesting. And it's used to decent effect. It builds tension in points of the episode where they are climbing a crane, and he insists that he wants to do it, but partially because I think he just needs to prove to himself that he can. I have a feeling that we're going to find out quite a lot of Ryan's disability is actually more psychological. Yes, it will take him work to do it, but when he puts his mind to it, he can. As is the case with a lot of disabilities. As a disabled person myself, I know that you can overcome quite a lot of things if you don't let your disability get in the way, but you have to be in that correct mindset to do so. What else we have is we have a good 10 minutes, really, before Jodie Whittaker even shows up, and that's nice. We get to have the companions. And then when Jodie does show up, well, the trailers were misleading, I'm gonna be honest. Yes, there are these occasional cringy lines, and I don't think Whittaker really does well with the wacky, but when she's playing a more serious doctor, as there are points in here where she is pretty serious and pretty grounded in, like, okay, I'm here to save the planet, something weird's going on in Sheffield, and I'm here to figure out what that is and try to stop it and save the day, because that's who I am. I'm the doctor. That is, even, and part of, like, her big moment is remembering who she is. Like, part of it's, like, the word, she's looking for a doctor, but she can't quite get the word out of her mouth. And it's really nicely done. It sort of echoes, both Tennant, Smith, and Capaldi's sort of figuring out who their doctors were over the course of their first episode, and I think it's pretty well done in this case. Maybe she needs to tone down and settle into the role a little more after this first episode, which, probably will happen. What is interesting, though, is that I do want to take a minute to talk about the marketing itself. In the US, we had this pre-show and after-show, which didn't help matters. But a lot of the emphasis was on the gender, and oddly enough, they sort of warped Chris Chibnall's and even Whittaker's words at points, where they would only show the points where they were talking about the gender. When really, the gender only gets mentioned once. There isn't any cutbacks to continuity, so there really isn't. He's always been a man, except like one time, which was in the released clip, 30 minutes ago. I was a white-haired Scotsman, which is a good line. I really did enjoy Jodie Whittaker's performance. She needs. I do think she could. There's definitely places where she can improve. She needs to settle down quite a bit. She's a very erratic and a bit on the jumpy side in places, which I think is just a problem. It needs to calm down. But by the end, she seems really good. And I'm really disappointed. She was in Capaldi's outfit for in majority of the episode, and it looks good on her. Like, it looks more doctorish than the clothes she's got, and I just don't like the new costume. I'm sorry. It just doesn't fit me. It doesn't feel doctorish. I feel like even though the gender's changed, like, it's silly. Yeah, the clothes were a mess in, like, Capaldi's outfit, but, like, she really deserves, like, a decent suit, not that mess. I still don't really like the costume. Sorry. But that's just, it's not a good costume main choice, and it just doesn't really do anything for me. But I did, also, I'm going with negatives, I think that Yasmin Khan as a character is probably the weakest link in the chain right now. Partially because we don't get much outside of up-and-coming cop who's, ready to get at it, which is, a little, it's okay. It's serviceable for the episode. It gives her a reason to be there. But honestly, I would rather have seen Grace join her at the end. I mean, I loved Grace's funeral, because Grace, of course, passes away, dies in the alien attack, like, when trying to help everything. Now, I like the idea of the alien, though it's a bit, it's like, basically the idea is that there's this race, called, I believe the race is called the Sim Shaw, but it's said, they make fun of it as Tim Shaw, so I'm currently watching Dark Shadows, the 60s TV show, and I kept having flashbacks whenever they would say it, the name, but if I get that wrong, I'm sorry. It's an idea, it's like they come to Earth to prove they're the leader, they kill someone with no weapons, except he's cheating, and the doctor's like, well, one, we have these gene bombs which get injected into our heroes, so, like, they may go off and, like, their genes will unravel and die, which is, like, terrifying concept. It's good to build tension, but it's one of those things. It's a good concept. It's really well done. Chibnall wrote a pretty decent episode, but a lot of it, the plot itself, is pretty thin. Probably, I'd say it didn't need the 65 minutes, but a lot of that 65 minutes is really just devoted to character stuff. I mean, I think the new director, Jamie Childs, who is a new director for Who, he's directing 4 episodes this season. He was serviceable. He's not a bad director by any means. There were a couple of flaws where I think he just didn't quite direct very well. Like, I feel a lot of he did a lot of close-ups, and really you could have avoided a lot of those close-ups. Maybe, just because it was like, and I think the design with the teeth of the alien just doesn't look right. But I did like some of the twists and turns, and you know what? A lot of it, as a mission statement, is that we're doing more fun sci-fi adventures, which is sort of, it seems to be a back to basics Who. I like the dynamic so far of the companions, even if I think Yasmin is probably still a weak link, and she needs to get some more development. And I like the fact that the next episodes is well, we're not doing a series arc. We are doing like a 2-episode mini arc. Like, this episode is leading into the next episode with the fact that at the end of Twice Upon a Time, the TARDIS dematerialized. So the Doctor has no TARDIS, no sonic screwdriver, which he has to build. Though at least I like that they kind of lampshaded the whole sonic screwdriver being more than just a screwdriver. It's more like a sonic Swiss Army knife minus the knife, which... Okay, that line about I never trust anyone with knives being cringe, because I think knives are a tool, not a weapon. Like, yeah, but you need to cut stuff. Like, what would you use? A spoon? Like, oh, she also makes it out of spoons. So I can forgive the design. By that scene, really, Whittaker has settled into her role, and that's probably one of my highlight scenes for the episode. Just because she is great in that scene. It's really well done. I'm really enjoying it. It's A Woman Who Fell to Earth overall was really fun. It's nothing major. Nothing. This is amazing. They're going to be in the greats of Doctor Who history. But it's a decent episode. And you know what? Sometimes when you're changing so much, you just need to prove that you can still do decent episodes. So I'm going to give The Woman Who Fell to Earth, probably for this initial reaction, about a 7 out of 10. That might change. But yeah, thanks for watching. And, next time, of course, for Series 11, in these Series 11 videos, we have The Ghost Monument, also by Chris Chibnall. I also forgot, the music actually was also really, really solid. Like, Sigourney Akinola did a really good job at keeping the music, subtle and quiet. I won't talk about the theme because we didn't actually get to see the full title sequence. We only see the credits and a title card. So I'm going to keep the theme and title discussion for next week. But yeah, other than that, good job.